Hey, insight number 3. We are still in Exodus 32. We're going to go over to verse 26. When I was doing the Come Follow Me study, David Butler likened the hymn that kind of goes from this to a pirate shanty, and I kind of agree with him. I always thought the same thing as well. It's a really not one of my favorite hymns. It's got some beautiful words in it, but it goes on way too long and just... the congregation gets bored in the middle of singing it, So, something we could improve there too, I think. Possibly our attitudes, of course, but also maybe, let's make it a shorter song. Let's take the words and just rearrange it a little, make it a little more better. Anyway, all right. So verse 26 of 32. So this is after Moses has come down, see this all going on that the Lord's told him, and is mad. So he says to them all, righteously mad too, because wouldn't you be frustrated? Everything you've done for these people, you've told them over and over again, you leave them for 40 days. It's not that long, right? Boom, they're gone. Not all of them, but a good portion of them. So he comes down, has a at them, and then says this in 26. Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, "Who is on the Lord's side? Let him come unto me." And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him. I'm like, sons of Levi. Yeah, I know a Levi. He's awesome. So I would hope his sons would be the same. And I think he would raise them to be that way. They haven't got kids at the moment, but hopefully. So there were others. And they went about and then became this force for keeping that, ridding. When you're in a survival situation, I was explaining this to my nephew who I teach seminary to. When you're in a survival situation like that, which they were, you can't have those people that cause unnecessary contention, that are always argumentative and are going to derail your leadership no matter what. You just can't have them there. So these Levites, they went around and they killed them. They killed the ones that were doing these kind of acts and causing this kind of contentious spirit continually. It wasn't something that was a one-off or a small sin. No, these were people that were antichrists. They really were against it all. So keep that in mind when you're reading. It sounds really harsh, but you have to go to, put your glasses on for desert survival with 600,000 plus people. You've got to try and keep them contained for their safety. It's just what it is. It's kind of harsh. It's harsh now because we don't have those sort of things. But, when you watch Survivor, if you watch Survivor at all, they get rid of the people that cause problems, that they think cause problems, because they can't have that around. It's going to, it's going to cause the issues. So I'm a big Survivor fan. I love watching that for the politics that go on in it. But that's what you've got to be aware of. When you're out of those kind of situations, normal, human, everyday behavior and culture and values, they all change for that situation. So you've got to have that relationship with Christ, be really strong with Christ, or you're going to be dragged away quite easily. So this is the question: who are you tethered to? Are you on the Lord's side? If Moses was to stand up now and be like, "Yeah, man, who's on the Lord's side?" Would you be like, maybe? Or are you like, "Yeah, that's me"? Because I'd be standing there going, "Yeah, that's me. Even though I'm not perfect and even though I'm working on it, that is still me. I am tethered to the Lord. I am building on that rock of the Redeemer. He is with me. I am with him." The whole point is the Lord is with me. That's it. So, do you want a living God or a lifeless statue? I'll take the living God, thank you. Who's on the Lord's side? Who are you anchored to? Who are you tethered to? Where are you building? I pick a living God. I don't want a statue. I want a living God. I want one that knows my name. I want one that knows me. I want one that answers me and talks to me. Yet we all have some lifeless statues that get more of our time than needed, like my TV. That's my problem. The lesson here again is your relationship with Christ. If you have and keep developing that relationship, it's very clear in your life who you are with. No amount of persuasion or pretty things will break your bond with Christ. If you have that strong relationship, no amount of pretty things or persuasion is going to break that. No matter what Satan throws at you, it is not going to break that. So that's where you need to be. Think about that. President Nelson, he said, as you choose to live on the Lord's side, you are never alone. Our prophet, our dear prophet, as you choose to live on the Lord's side, you are never alone. I'm on the Lord's side. Who's with the Lord? Who's on the Lord's side? I am. I'm on the winning team. Are you debating which team you're on? Are you feeling like you're not really wanting to play? Have a think about that. See where you're at, because some days we just don't feel like we want to play. We're like, no, we're out of the game today. Like I was out of the game last week. I'm like, I can't. I just need that break. But I still did my scripture study. I just took a step back from some of the things, right? Still did my scripture study. I still studied the 10 Commandments scriptures, which are really good. And the Come Follow Me last week, the actual lesson book was excellent. I totally recommend it. But yeah, I always do the Come Follow Me readings and the lesson book. They're really good. Those books are actually really well put together. They aren't perfect either, and there are some small mistakes, and some things do slip by. I've noticed a couple of grammatical errors and some spelling errors that my husband picked up. But don't rush to put them together and print them in the millions to send out in different languages, so give them a break, you know. It's going to happen, just like the rest of us. So yeah, there you go. Who are you tethered to? Who's on the Lord's side? Think of the prophet standing up now and going, who's on the Lord's side? And you're like, yeah, I am, right here. Woo, me. Yeah, me, right here. Here we go, me. There you go. Yeah. All right, that's that one. Hang around for insight number 4. I'll be back soon.